in a, let's say, classic way, how you might look at the MRI of, in this case, spine, with scrolling through the slices. This works well for some pathologies or problems. If you are looking at disc hernia or other issues where you are really interested in seeing a cross-section through the data set, this works quite well. But if you have more geometric complexity, let's say, so a complicated fracture or some deformities, fused vertebra, or a particularly complex case of scoliosis, then this becomes challenging to visualize slice by slice or even with reconstruction. So then often you move to 3D printing. You try to reconstruct the relevant parts of the anatomy from the scan. This works quite well. The problem is, at least from what I know, is that this needs some preparation. So even if you can use AI to segment the data set, depending on what kind of area of the data set you want to prepare and print, you then need to maybe manually clean up some parts or add extra structures to help with the printing to keep it stable. So what we are trying to do instead, or what we are doing, is show all of it in VR. So this video gives a little bit of an overview of what we are doing. We are using direct volume rendering, which means that we can take CT scan as it comes out of the scanner and directly go straight to visualization. So there is no intermediate steps. And it gives you a lot of flexibility how you can visualize the data set. You can change, as you've seen before, how you visualize the different tissue types. You can cut through the data set freely, very intuitively with the motion tracked controller. And you can explore the data set much more flexibly than a 3D print or on just a normal computer display. This needs a lot of graphics optimizations to run smooth enough because you need to be able to display these images fast enough to avoid motion sickness. Otherwise, you put on the headset and it stutters, and after 5 minutes, you have had enough. So we spent a lot of effort to try to make it as fast as possible. So this is all happening in real time in a VR headset. We have also been looking during the university research in collaboration with the university hospital in simulating some aspects of the surgery like pedicle, screw insertion or palpation. And we also have the possibility to connect multiple headsets, as you see here, which allows the professor or the teacher of anatomy lecture to connect to students, and then they can collaborate and discuss a case together. It's also possible to use this for patient education, where you can again connect multiple headsets and then show the patient in a way, show the patient what will happen during surgery in a way that is maybe much more understandable than the regular visualizations that you might use otherwise. So, as I mentioned before, one of the main benefits of using direct volume rendering is that there are no intermediate steps between data acquisition and visualization in the headset. So you don't need to do any kind of segmentation, no filtering, no pre-processing. You just upload the DICOM data set, let's say in the hospital's PACS system, and then visualize it in our software. So to see a little bit more how this works, one of the main benefits as well for VR is the much more intuitive interaction with the data set. So you don't really need to learn any kind of complicated interactions or complicated software to use. You just you move your head, you walk around the data set, you look at the part of the data set you want to look at. You can explore much more easily, look at the parts that are relevant for the surgery that you are planning. This is a case of an aneurysm patient that was operated on here in Basel. And you can really scale it up as much as needed to go into all the details that might be relevant. So you can see some of the aneurysma at the end of the spinal column there. Another thing we can do is to load any kind of implants or screws or tools into the environment, such as this disc here, and then you can plan the placement. You can much better understand the correct sizing and correct shape of the implant. It helps you choose the right the right size, right implant by placing it and really looking at it from any angle. So that's the preoperative planning. What you can also do is during surgery, intraoperative image that you might acquire, or after the surgery, you can then compare the plan with the result. So this is a cadaver study with a lot of pedicle screws. And because we are using volume rendering instead of converting the data set to a 3D model, it's really easy to change the, let's say, the transparency in this case of the bones and highlight just the screws, which have a different density in the CT scan. So it helps highlighting those parts, and you can really compare and look at the results. Some other things that we are also looking at, which is still more, let's say, in an experimental phase, is to try to take apart a scan and then make it more dynamic by allowing you to move individual bones in the scan. This is a little bit more challenging from a technical perspective if you are doing volume rendering. But as you can see here, we can take a scoliosis data set, separate the individual vertebrae, and then move them. So this is not supposed to be a biomechanically accurate simulation. It's just demonstrating the possibility to take apart the scan and then, let's say, rearrange the bone fragments of a fracture or the vertebra, as you can see in this case. So we are focusing on three main areas currently. As I mentioned before, first of them, which is already in use and available, it's patient education. So here we have an example of Professor Rafael Guzman at the University Hospital in Basel, where we can load the data and invite the patient to look at the data and really help with explaining what's going to happen in a more complex surgery in a way that the patient can understand much easier what's going to happen, which helps with trust and being more calm or prepared for the surgery. And here the rendering approach also helps, because if you don't need to prepare the data set, you can immediately load it after acquiring the scan. Then you save a lot of time if you want to discuss the case with the patient afterwards. The second area is the preoperative planning. So here, as I've shown with some examples before, that's what you can do before the surgery. So here, this is again an aneurysm case. You can simulate or try out different approach paths, remove parts of the skull to better understand maybe where you might want to do the craniotomy. You can do measurements, distance measurements, angle measurements. And in this case, you can select a variety of aneurysm clips to try. So you can plan the right size or shape of the clip ahead of time, as with the disc before, with the spine. So here we are currently in the end phase of acquiring CE and FDA approval. Hopefully by the end of the year we will be ready with this. And finally, the intra-surgery or intraoperative visualization with something like the HoloLens or the Apple Vision Pro. You can then take the prepared plans that you prepared ahead of the surgery before in VR and then look at exactly the same prepared measurements or selected clips, selected implants in the operating room, have it as a reference and compare to reality. So if you're interested to learn more, I invite you to visit our website and get in touch. And I thank you for your attention.